Hello, and today I'll be showing you how to texture your maps and add depth to them by using a displacement texture through shaders. So first, in your 3D scene, create it by adding a 3D node, and then under this 3D node add a child node of type mesh instance 3D, and then after you do that, you can in the inspector here add a mesh. I'll add a plane mesh, and I'll increase this mesh size to 20 by 20 meters, but you can make it however big you want it to be. So to add depth, first we need a lot of vertices, and if I look at the wireframe here, I can see that I have only 4 vertices to this plane, so we'll need to add some subdivision. So let's say I'll add 50 by 50 subdivision, and as you can see, there are a lot more vertices now. So the reason why it wouldn't work for a few vertices, since we'll be displacing vertices themselves through a texture. So if there's not enough vertices, you don't have anything to displace, and you couldn't see it on a plane very well. So now you would like to create a surface override material. So go under surface material override, and under the empty box select new shader material. Once you've added it, click on this ball and then select shader empty parameter and click on new shader, and here I'll create the map shader. You can name it however you would like. I'll just name it map shader. So now open your shader editor, and first I'll define some variables. I have 4 textures I've downloaded from Polyheaven, and I have the color texture, displacement texture, normal texture, and roughness texture. So let's add a uniform sampler to the variable for each of these textures. So now once you've added these, you can click on Mesh Instance 3D, and now you can see there's shader parameters tab now, and you can add textures to it, but even if I add them, we won't see any results. So let's go to the fragment code and define our variables. So first I'll define the pixel coordinate variable, which will be vector 2 UV, and we'll assign the pixel coordinates to it. Now we'll define a vector 4 for the color object. We'll call it albedo, since that's used for 3D objects as color. And we'll assign a calling of the function texture, and we'll input our variable we created, color texture, and also the UV coordinate variable we created. Now we'll define the normal variable, and we'll also call the function texture, assign the normal texture variable and the UV variable. And now for the roughness, I actually want to define a float variable. I'll call it roughness as well, and I'll call the function again of and input variables rough texture and UV, and we take the red channel, and here I'll only take the red, green, and blue channels. And now I can assign these variables to the albedo, normal, and roughness built-in variables in the node. So I'll type albedo in all capitals, and you can see it suggests albedo. I'll just press enter and assign the variable albedo to 2 colors, and I'll call the red, green, and blue channels to assign it. And now I'll also add the normal variable really quickly, and then the roughness variable. So now we've assigned our variables, and now I'll try to import the textures I've shown you and I'll switch to normal display. Now I can load these variables. I'll select a color for the color texture, and as you can see, the plane color changes and we can see the snowy texture on it. I'll also add the normal texture, which is used for lighting, and the roughness texture. And now for the displacement texture, I can add it, but we've not yet assigned anything to it, and we will not be doing it through fragment, we'll be doing this through vertex. So first I want to define also the pixel coordinates, and I'll assign UV again to it. And now for the vertex displacement, you actually need to define another variable called height, and we'll call the texture function again, and we'll input our displacement texture variable and the UV variable, and we'll also just take the red channel since it's a float variable and we can assign only one value to it. And now we'll assign the vertex variable with a new value of vector 3, and we'll take the same vertex there is already of vertex x value, then we'll put in the height for the y coordinate, so it is displaced up and not to the sides, and we'll also add vertex the z vertex. And now if we add another texture to it, the map will be displaced. So I'll load it real quick. I'll use the height texture, and if I look from the side, we can see it's displaced. If we want to make this even more displaced, we can multiply this height value by a certain float value. So let's say I wanted to make it 5 times bigger, and as you can see, the whole map is raised, but also it's less even. So that's how you shade your map with height textures. Thank you for watching.